Can you make a good Regulation G team using only Pokémon from the Johto region? We're going to answer that question today in episode 2 of Region All-Stars. If you've watched this channel at all, you know that I love Johto. It says it right there in the bio. So I am thrilled to be building a team solely out of Pokémon hailing from that land of burnt towers and guaranteed shiny Gyaradoses. I hope it lives up to the expectations.
Magnificent.
I can't believe it. Lugia.
For today's team, we have a choice between 2 restricted mons. I am opting for Lugia, for little reason other than it was my preferred legendary as a kid. It's significantly weaker than its predecessor Mewtwo, and somehow carries even more common weaknesses. So it seems like an easy F on the restricted tier list. But the multi-scale ability gives it a little bit of an edge, especially when you consider its already outstanding bulk. Taking half damage from the first attack that comes at Lugia makes it an unusually adept user of the weakness policy. To capitalize on this, we are giving Lugia an all-out attacking set, with Earth Power and Terra Ground being a sneaky way to avoid those electric types that would otherwise rip Lugia to shreds. We also have a bit of a gimmicky strategy with the weakness policy. The Sneasel on our team can fling a Lansat Berry at our Lugia, which both activates the weakness policy and raises Lugia's crit rate. This seems like a great idea to boost Lugia's damage output, but in practice it's really inconsistent, and didn't work out even once during my time with the team. Still, I wanted to mention it. The rest of the team is meant to cover Lugia's weaknesses. First of all, unlike with Kanto, we finally have a decent Tailwind setter in Murkrow. Thunder Wave is also a wonderful way to introduce some variability in our favor. Donphan is one of the few ground types available to us, and I was thrilled to use it because Phanpy was my favorite Pokemon growing up. Raikou is my personal favorite of the legendary beasts and has Electro Web for speed control. Finally, Feraligatr was more of a last-minute addition meant to give us a strong physical attacker. Life Orb Sheer Force can hit like a truck, but in practice Feraligatr fit out more than it fit in. Still, I'm excited to show you how the pieces fit together on this unit. Will Lugia represent its home region well, or will Johto take a dive? Let's find out. Okay, a Lunala team is really interesting. How worried am I about Armarouge and Indeedee? Not super worried. I have a lot of dark types on this team. Their only real form of speed control is the weather, but let's not overthink this. Murkrow up front, and I think Lugia. We don't have anything that really deals with sleep powder, but we do have Taunt available to us. I think Feraligator's pretty helpful, though there will be Sun up for the duration. So let's say Raikou and Donphan. And we'll leave Sneasel behind for this one. It was Torkoal Lilligant. Well, here we have a lot of options. I think the most sense is simply Taunt on Lilligant and just get some damage down with Earth Power on Torkoal. Their only way around this is Mental Herb or Terra Dark. I could see them protecting Lilligant and just going for Eruption, hence why I'm focusing down that Torkoal. Because if we get the Taunt off, it will put Lilligant mostly out of commission. Okay, they switched Torkoal into Indeedee, really? Well, that was their other play, but I just didn't think that bringing Indeedee made that much sense. So I suppose now we're going to sleep. Psychic Seed. Okay, Taunt doesn't work. And there's Sleep Powder, and now we are asleep. I'm still not sure what they do for damage, so I'm not going to mail it in until it's too late. The real question is what we do with Murkrow. I'm inclined to just try to break the Sash on Lilligant and go for the KO on Lilligant if we happen to get a one-turn sleep. The only reason I'm not too discouraged is that I don't really see how they make progress in this position. Also very possible that I was going to say that they do Trick Room with Indeedee, but that's not the case, and it's Lunala. Foul play on Murkrow is very nice for damage into Lunala. Do they hit? No, they Pollen Puff. Interesting. This should not do much. Good. And we get foul play off, so there goes the Sash. And now their Lunala also definitely has to be worried about Murkrow doing a lot of damage here. We should stay in. I think we should just go for Tailwind and then Arrow Blast. They do Terra, as I thought, Fear of Foul Play. Into what though? Fairy is my hunch. No, into Psychic. Interesting. I suppose that makes sense. But I don't know where like Expanding Force spam is going to get them. Tailwind goes off. They're probably just going to Sleep Powder. After you. And now Moongeist Beam. Meteor Beam. I forgot about that. Now, if this KOs, we're in a lot of trouble. My gut says that it shouldn't. I mean, Lugia is so especially bulky. But then again, Lunala is restricted for a reason. It does not KO as I thought. And I really need Lugia to wake up here. Whole game changes if Lugia wakes up. And Lugia stays asleep. So that is going to do it for us. Because now they can just Expanding Force spam as much as they want. We'll Protect. If they read the Protect, they're even better. This is exactly what I meant about making progress in the position. I didn't see a way, and then getting my 2-turn sleep. Oh, hold on. That's interesting. What on earth did they think I was doing? Maybe they think I have Expanding Force. Foul Play comes out, breaks the Shadow Shield. That's nice. And now there's a very strong chance that they are going to go for another Sleep Powder. So one way we can win is if they miss. Is there a way to play around this? Moongeist Beam, Expanding Force, not really. I suppose we could just go for the double Protect. I don't think we can though. Okay, they missed Sleep Powder. That is huge. Okay. All right, we have a shot here. There goes Lilligant. We'll get a bunch of damage off. And I'm feeling okay, especially depending on who they target down. This will do way more than it did last time. And the Expanding Force, okay. Now let's think about what Mons they have available. They timed it perfectly, I will say, as they'll get that Psychic Terrain back up. And I'm not really sure who they bring in either. I could see them bringing in Torkoal. I was going to say Torkoal and then switching to Indeedee. Here, I think we have to play as smart as we can. I think we foul play the Lunala and we high horsepower the Indeedee. I think is the best course of action because they've consumed their item already. So high horsepower is definitely going to be stronger with stab. I suspect Protect on Lunala, but they wide guard. They might not have Protect. That is my only thought here, because I don't know what they're protecting against. Okay, there goes Lunala, and it's gonna be Trick Room. And the question is if we can beat Torkoal. And I must say I'm a little doubtful, but we have some stuff in our favor, and we miss no, we don't miss high horsepower. That's awesome, okay. Big damage and Trick Room. Now we gotta be as smart as we can. My Tailwind's gone, so if they're not min speed Indeedee, Donphan has a chance to underspeed. If there wasn't terrain up, we would be sitting really nice. I think Raikou in the back being Terra Water is going to be nice and will give us a puncher's chance. They just go for Eruption. I'm Eviolite, I'm specially defensive, but Murkrow doesn't survive that. It's just too strong. And let's see what Indeedee goes for. This is also very important. Okay, and they are just going to break Sturdy. So now I got to think, is there any play that I have here? I don't think so. I think they did a good job of securing the win. I think we just have to go for the underspeed, because they're probably pondering if Follow Me makes sense here, but they don't go for it. Torkoal goes first. Oh, they do go for Follow Me. Okay. Smart play by them. And they're probably right, to be honest, about underspeeding. Okay, Donphan goes down to Sash. We really can't afford to miss here. Horsepower comes out, and okay, this is perfect. We're gonna Terra Water, we're gonna Electro Web, and we're gonna Protect with Donphan. And it's just gonna come down to how much Raikou takes here. Okay, my Terra comes out. I wonder if they were expecting some sort of fire type resist. We'll see. What's really nice is if they lose Sunlight, Scald on Raikou makes a lot of sense. Okay, Eruption comes out. This is really tough. I'm surprised they didn't follow me here. Okay, Raikou sponges, which means we're definitely living Dazzling Gleam. Yep, don't take too much, and now it's not miss. We don't. And that is some real nice damage. It means Eruption is going to do significantly less this next turn. And how many turns of everything left is going to decide this? 2 turns of Harsh Sunlight is really tough. 1 turn of Psychic Terrain. Okay, so we definitely go for Protect here. And we essentially have to go for the double. If we get the double, we win immediately. Donphan doesn't. Oh, it does get the double. That is huge. Okay, that's game. That is Johto on the board. Thank you, Donphan. Came through when we needed it most, and they are choice specs, so we were going to win anyway. Okay, good. Twisted Dimensions are done, and Weirdness is gone from the battlefield. And against all odds, we have picked up a win here. Let's high Horsepower. Do they forfeit? I hope they don't, because I want to see how much Thunderbolt did. Let's see, did this pick up the KO with Magnet? It did. Okay, cool. So Donphan actually didn't need to survive there. Nice, good job. Look at that, Donphan putting in some work. Always feels like an outdated Pokemon. So it's good to see it get some legwork in. Oh wow, okay, this is a fascinating team. I'm trying to think, Sneaslur's normally Unburden, and I can't figure out what it would activate on. Thunder Wave is going to be really nice. And Lugia actually has a pretty good matchup into a lot of these Pokemon. Let's bring Feraligatr and Raikou. Okay, Hydreigon does come out, which is the only thing that really scares Lugia. But let's think. I think Tailwind just into Earth Power on Arcanine makes a lot of sense. And then hopefully Hydreigon activates our weakness policy for us. Let's see, Tailwind comes out, they don't Terra, they don't do anything fancy. Earth Power comes out, they might just Tailwind themselves. We do pick up the one-hit KO to be expected, and that's really nice. Get rid of one Mon immediately. And it is Dark Pulse, perfect, and it does not do too much. So we are online with Lugia. This is about as well as you could ask it to go. And now we can Terra anytime we want with Lugia and work our way around that Hydreigon. Okay, Koraidon comes out. I almost want to slow play things here. I'm hard pressed to believe that they would just let me KO Koraidon. I feel like a Terra coming out is very likely. I think I'm just going to Protect. Okay, Terra does come out, and this will let me plan for later. If it's fire, then Earth Power looks even better, and it is fire. Hitting Thunder Wave here would be huge. Lugia protects. Okay, and we hit Thunder Wave. That's massive. Dark Pulse into Lugia, and if they Flame Charge Murkrow, we're still not in the most trouble. Nope, but they Flare Blitz Lugia. And now we can go for Foul Play, and I think we burn the Terra here and just go Earth Power onto Koraidon. This way, even if they Dark Pulse us with Hydreigon, we're not going to be KO'd. So we still have a lot to play for next turn. It might be a mistake leaving Hydreigon for this long. Okay, they don't Protect though, so I don't think it was. See? And look at that, Lugia just takes the one shot off the bat. And Lugia's been just tearing through this team. Okay, Foul Play comes out. There's a little chip and Dark Pulse. Cool. So now we can plan for the end game pretty easily. Their leftovers Hydreigon, hence why they don't have a ton of attacking power. And now we just get to see what's in the back, and it's Charizard. They're probably choice specs, if I had to guess. This is our last turn of Tailwind. So I think the smartest thing we can do is try to para that Charizard, and I think just go for damage right off the bat. I think it's a bad idea to stall for too long. Okay, we hit Thunder Wave. That is awesome that we've hit all three, or two, I guess. And Aeroblast hits as well. This is going to do a lot, make no mistake. And that is a one-shot, and Lugia has just ripped through this team. If you're putting together a sizzle reel of how well this go, and they missed Draco Meteor just for insult to injury. Wow, I fully expect to forfeit on this 4-0. We took barely any damage this game. I really, really hope that they don't forfeit. They don't, they protect. Probably BMing, no reason to protect. Tailwind comes out. Surely that was Choice Specs Charizard, right? I feel like normally I would run Sash if I wasn't like a choice item like Choice Scarf. Could have been Life Orb. Okay, they're playing it out, which I appreciate. Maybe Feraligatr can do something? But I kind of think Aeroblast, no, they're leftovers. They gotta be bulky. Yep, they survive. Draco Meteor. Yep, seeing how bulky they were, I never thought that was gonna KO. Ice Punch, bam. Sheer Force, Life Orb, Ice Punch was always gonna do a lot, and the crit on top of that. So yeah, that is that's about as well as it could have gone here. 4-0 and making Johto look like a powerhouse. Oh wow, okay, this is a really fun one. Revavroom, Iron Valiant, Zacian. What more could you ask for? Okay, Murkrow feels like a must bring. Raikou matches up sneaky nice into Zacian. Maybe Donphan makes sense as a lead. Maybe Lugia with Donphan and Raikou in the back. This is not really a Feraligatr game, I gotta be honest. Okay, Zacian and Grimmsnarl. You know what? It could be worse, I'll be honest. Okay, our priority is to Thunder Wave and protect, and then figure it out from there. Because a para down on Zacian is huge. Okay, protect. They don't protect. We hit Thunder Wave. Okay, step one of the plan is in motion. Okay, they Thunder Wave 2. Cool. Feels like they might play rough. No, they just Behemoth Blade. Okay. Well, now I'm feeling awesome. This is about as much as I could have asked for. We're going to snipe that Zacian now. But if I'm them, I don't see a reason not to Thunder Wave me. And I'm really banking on that here. Plus, I don't think that they think that I can KO them in one shot with Lugia. Okay, it is Thunder Wave. They don't protect. This is about what I could have asked for. Earth Power comes off. Needs to do a lot. And it does, but not enough. Because Foul Play... Oh, it does pick up the KO. That is huge. Okay, okay. Well, that is absolutely massive. That's crazy. I mean, that Intrepid Sword attack boost coming back to bite Zacian, huge right there. Okay, and now... Yep, it is still looking awesome. I'm honestly almost tempted to switch. Maybe not. Maybe we slow play with Protect. Maybe we Aeroblast just for some damage on the Grim. They do Terra. I feel like that was to be expected. Into what? Grass, maybe? No, into normal type. I gotta be honest, I don't know what this strategy at play is. Does it get Boom Burst or something? Okay, Thunder Wave hits. That's gonna make sure that that is bothered for the rest of the game. And we can figure out what normal type attack this thing is going for. A Light Screen, that makes a lot of sense. Aeroblast comes out. Does a tiny bit of damage. And they self-destruct, really? Okay, well this is just bonkers. Does it pick up the KO? Ah, normal gem, interesting. But we survive with Lugia, thanks to multiscale. So all of a sudden, we are sitting on a 3v1. And they only got Light Screen up. I must say, a fascinating game. A fast game, and one that looks like it's going to be tipping in our favor. I don't remember what they have in the back. I feel like it can't hurt to bring Donphan in, considering it has Sturdy, so you're never one-hit KOing it. Or Shifu, okay. So they are one-hit KOing it. And it is water type. Okay, that is frankly the worst case scenario. But we're actually doing okay here. I think I'll use Psychic because we don't ever really get to see it. They're probably going to just forfeit here. But maybe they think they have a way around this. Okay, they Surging Strikes. KOs Lugia, but just barely, to be honest. Get our weakness policy. This is why I high horsepowered on the off chain. Like, they can only target one, right? Not just barely, but as you can see, Lugia is very bulky. Thank you, Lugia. You really did your job here. Surviving that self-destruct actually really cinched this up for us. We need to hit high horsepower, though. Let me not speak too soon. We do. And that's a 2-hit KO. Okay, that is going to be game for us. I mean, especially considering that we have Raikou in the back. Technically, if they KO Raikou, like with Choice Scarf, for example, no, they never do. Actually, they can if we miss high horsepower, but they're not Scarf. Raikou outspeeds, and we take another game with Johto. I love seeing Raikou do well. It's one of my favorite Johto mons. What am I saying, though? In all my videos, every Johto mon is one of my favorite Johto mons. But yeah, pretty good win. Very, very happy with that one. All right, another just fascinating team. I just love seeing Iron Valiant. I haven't seen that thing around in forever. We have a lot of dark types. Again, I want to say that it doesn't seem to make that much sense to bring Expanding Force spam, but I have been wrong before, that's for sure. I think bringing Murkrow's essential, even knowing that they could bring in Psychic Terrain at any time. Okay, it is Calyrex Indeedee. Frankly, not the end of the world. I have seen way worse matchups to go into before. And Lugia having multi-scale is really, really nice. Yeah, this is actually really, really nice. We don't want to set up Tailwind yet. I'll be honest, it's not in our best interest because I'd like to get the weakness policy off immediately. Okay, they do Terra. That's a bit of bad news for us. It's Terra Ghost. We're doing okay. Let's see. Okay, it is Terra Ghost. That means Foul Play will still do a lot of damage. Now, I suppose there's a chance if they're Choice Scarf Indeedee, which they are, but this doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. I mean, provided I have like the wrong ideas in mind of how bulky Lugia is, but I don't think that I do, and I don't think this should KO. Let's see. And it doesn't. Perfect. And there's weakness policy, and we will be getting up Tailwind next turn. Good. We just can't afford to miss here, which we don't. Good. And this is why we Foul Play to cover. And there we go. Okay, we're through their Terra. We're through their strongest mon. And it appears as if they are Choice Scarfed into After You. Here, I'm inclined to protect and just Tailwind. Hope that they KO me. And then we have like a lot more flexibility next turn. See, Tailwind, let's see if they're locked into After You. Feels likely. They are. And I really hope they went into Murkrow. But they didn't. That is tough. I think we just go for damage. Don't see a reason not to. As long as they're locked into After You, and we are faster. Perfect. Huge damage, down to Sturdy. Is Murkrow faster? It isn't. That's tough. If it was, we would have gotten off that turn scot-free, but we have officially locked them into After You into perpetuity, which should seal the game for us. Lugia definitely did more than enough. Foul Play comes out. Foul Play really putting in work in some of these games. Being able to leverage those strong physical attacks. Donphan's really slow. So to prep for whatever they have, I think bringing in Raikou makes more sense. Dragapult, Valiant. Valiant, interesting. Okay. Maybe Scald? Or no, I think we just go for damage. And let's just Foul Play the Valiant. Don't know why we Foul Played, actually. It doesn't really make a lick of sense. Oh, but we do so much damage. That is why we Foul Play. Are you kidding me? Wait, Raikou, when did you do so much damage? I know Valiant isn't that bulky, but that's crazy. And a Leaf Blade. Cool move. Tech. But unfortunately, all they have left now is an NDD that can click after you. Wow, I'm genuinely stunned at how much damage that Raikou just did. Let's Thunderbolt for the formality and foul play, but they will be canceling. And Raikou's so cool. Saber-tooth tiger look. Oh, they let me take the KO too. How nice. Good damage. After you into nobody. And I don't think foul play should KO, but let's see. Can Murkrow take it? Yes. And that is... Was that 3 KOs for Murkrow this game? I think it was. Nice job, buddy. No, wait, was that was 4 KOs for Murkrow this game? The Murkrow sweep? Was that the Murkrow sweep to end it on? That is great. That is so funny. I'm gonna burn the Terra. I never thought I'd Terra Murkrow in my life. Yeah, we're definitely not taking this one. That is a bummer. I kind of like Terra Ground Earth Power. This might be a terrible, terrible idea. And their final Gambit. Really? Well, that is the worst case scenario. All right, we have taken the Johto team to Paldea's highest peak, because to me, Johto is the highest peak of Pokemon. So I felt that it was fitting. And actually, it is so loud up here. Let me artificially turn down the gain on the wind noises. Yeah, honestly, really fun team. Just like with the Kanto one, really took a lot of workshopping to get the team into a workable state. Went through a number of different revisions, and still definitely not perfect. Don't think Raikou is quite sleeping right. I don't think that's how the physics work. But yeah, I wanted to do Johto proud. I think Lugia, to be completely honest, I think Lugia is a worse restricted than Hoa would be, just because the typing isn't quite as good, even though it is faster. But yeah, I wanted something that would show off some of the fun stuff Lugia could do. It's funny to think that the Sneasel fling strategy did not once happen. Maybe like if I've learned anything, it's that Showdown and console play, like ladder, cartridge play, have such drastically different feels to them, have such drastically different like team compositions, and sometimes something works on one and not on the other, and that was definitely the case with the fling Sneasel strategy. So I gave it a go, but as you can see at the end of the day, Thunderwave Murkrow with foul play, with Tailwind, with Taunt turned out to be a much more consistent option. Sort of the same thing with Feraligatr. Felt like Terra Ice Ice Punch was way more useful on Showdown. We just didn't run into the teams that really needed it here. Donphan was the one that I was really happy with. I made an original team that didn't have a single ground type on it, and I was just getting shellacked, as you can imagine, by Raging Bolt, by Miraidon, by Iron Hands, and I just needed a ground type, and my only 2 real options were Quagsire, which I love, but the 4 times weakness to grass was kind of tough, and then Donphan, with which the combination of a priority type attack in Ice Shard, sturdy to essentially have a focus sash when you need it, and with an expert belt and Terra Ground, it will always KO Miraidon basically. So niche pick to cover a matchup that we really needed to cover. So happy about finding this mon and having it work out. Murkrow, if you played early in Scarlet and Violet, was really good as the only Tailwind setter, and honestly still has a lot of usefulness. Thunderwave and Prankster Tailwind is always going to be helpful. But the last one I really want to talk about is that Lugia, the crux of the team in many ways. And as you can see, really, essentially came out in the lead all the time. And that's because it offers the most damage. And with multiscale, it's uniquely equipped to have the weakness policy item. And in many cases, really encourages you to go second to your opponent on at least that first turn. It's so counterintuitive to really lean into being attacked in a super effective way. But when you combine that bulk with the multi-scale ability, you're essentially safe all the time, except to like the strongest of strong attacks. In that last game you saw even Calyrex Shadow Rider, which is like the strongest mon that we've really ever seen in some ways, Could Terra Ghost to boost even further and still couldn't knock out Lugia in one shot. And then enabled it to do as much damage as it did later. So yeah, really, really happy in some ways with Lugia's performance, but I stand by the fact, I'm sure I say in the intro, that Lugia is not the strongest restricted. Now, if it was like a legendary in the sense that like Landorus is, or Regieleki, where you could use it in all metagames, yeah, Lugia would be great. But those 90 attack stats are just not gonna cover it when it's essentially one slot on your team and it's reserved for the strongest possible Pokemon. So I still love it. Still is such a soft spot in my heart. I think I've used that turn of phrase a couple of times already, but could be better. But overall, really, really fun team. And I'm actually planning on making a Ho-Oh team as well. I don't know if I'll mention it anywhere but here at the very end if you stick it out. No offense if you don't. But yeah, I think I am going to try building a Ho-Oh team. Maybe lean as like a Trick Room setup, because Ho-Oh's noticeably slower than Lugia. It's still 85 speed, but you know, I think it's workable using Trick Room to essentially counter speed control. But yeah, really fun team, really fun set of games. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, liking and subscribing helps the channel, keep you in the loop, keep you posted on the next couple episodes. And yeah, I'm Slam Gaming, and have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it is. Thanks for watching. Lugia looks really majestic here. Oh, and it's off the ground.